Hello, everybody. I hope you are all well, you are all doing good, and enjoying the blessings of God in this land of the living. I would want to share with you on the topic today: who are you when no one is watching? When you go out and you go out without your wife, your husband, your friends, your parents, your children, what do you do? What do you say? How do you act when these people are not around? Do you just act anyway because they are not watching? Or do you still do the right things that you do when they are watching? Do you keep to being truthful to yourself when nobody is watching? Do you keep to being sincere to yourself even when nobody is watching? Even when the people that matter most to you are not around? The people that you care so much about, the people that you love so much are not watching. Do you still live right? Do you still do the good things you do to them or you do when they are watching? Or you only do it when these people are looking or they are watching or they are around? You, in as much as possible, you have to try to do the right thing even when these people are not watching, to set your conscience free, and to make you feel right. Because if you just leave things anyhow, because the people that you do those good things to are not watching or they are not around, who are you deceiving? I think you are deceiving yourself, because you are trying to be a different person. You are trying to be a chameleon. You are changing according to the weather, or you are changing according to circumstances or situations. When you go out, when you are home, you are a respectful husband, you are a respectful wife, you are a respectful child. Before you ask anything, you say please. After, you say thank you. But when you go out into the public, these people are not around. And then you just speak to people anyhow. You just act to people anyhow. Because these people are not looking or they are not watching. So who are you? Who truly are you? You have to ask yourself, who are you when no one is watching? You go to church, you meet the pastor, and you kneel down, you hold the pastor, and you say, Pastor, in fact, you are blessed. I love the way you preach. I love your teaching. And God bless you. I love the way your children are. And in fact, I'm so impressed. And then you walk out of church, you go home, you gather with your friends, your family, your people, and then you say the right opposites that you told your pastor. So who are you? Are you being truthful to yourself, or are you just trying to please people? Why are you pleasing people? Forgetting that there's God in heaven who sits on the throne, who rules all the affairs of this world, and he's watching everything. Even when these people are not looking, they are not around, they are not watching, God is watching you. So please do the right thing even when nobody is watching you. Even when no one is looking, even when no one is watching. Try as much as possible and do the right thing. If you are not a Christian, it's not necessarily about being a Christian or being religious or no. Do the right thing to help your own conscience. When you leave, when you walk out of the public library that you use, how do you leave it? Do you leave it anyhow because nobody is watching? Do you just tear the books that you use because nobody is watching? Do you just use the computers anyhow because nobody is watching? How do you leave it? Do you leave that place feeling in your conscience that, oh, I've done the right thing? Feeling free within yourself that, oh, I used this library, I left it very clean, I left the table clean, I didn't leave anything there, or the rubbish that I had, I put it in the right place in the bin. I did not just leave it on the table because nobody was there. No, you don't just have to do the right thing because someone is watching you. If you are a student, you don't have to read your books because your lecturers are looking or they are watching you, they are around. You don't have to act like, oh yes, you are that serious student. Because at the end of the day, when you leave and you go home, what do? Do you read your books because, or you don't read your books because they are not watching? At the end of the day, you are going to sit for an exam. You will be sitting for examinations. You will be sitting for mock exams and all that. You are the one who will be tested at the end of the course. So if you think you are pleasing that lecturer, that teacher, you are doing yourself. You are not doing good to yourself at the end of it all, because you've tried pleasing someone and not, at the end of the day, not doing what you had to do or what you have to do, what is intended of you or what is deemed of you to do, because you wanted to please someone. You know, if you are home and you are a husband or a wife and you you talk so well about your wife, you talk so well about your husband, she's respectful, she's hardworking, she does all these things, and you tell her at home or you tell him at home, when you walk out, what do you tell people about her? What do you tell people about your husband, him? What do you tell people? Either way, what do you tell them? Do you tell people the direct opposite that you tell your wife or your husband every day at home? Who are you when these people are not watching you? Who are you when your loved ones are not watching? Do you continue to be sincere to yourself? When you go out with friends and they are drinking and they invite you, and at home you don't drink because everyone at home knows that, or you don't drink. But do you go on and drink because your friends are drinking, because you want to please them? At the end of the day, who are you deceiving? Who are you? Who are you when no one is watching? When your children are around, the way you care for them, the way you act towards them. What do you do when they are not around? Do you continue to be that same loving mother? Do you continue to be that same loving father? Do you continue to be that same loving person even when they are not around, to other people or even to yourself? Do you remain true to yourself? Or you just try to please people around? You have to try in as much as possible that in every day of your life, wherever you go to, wherever you find yourself, there are times circumstances come up our ways and we are pushed somehow around to not remain truthful to ourselves. But we quickly forget that God is in heaven watching us. It's not necessarily about the people around you or the people who you so much love, you wish, and you're always, showing your good aspects to them, or your the good sort of person they know you to be to them. But once they are not around, you are showing the direct opposite. We need God's grace to live this sort of life, because sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes we are tempted to just run away from trouble, to just do the direct opposite of these things, to keep ourselves away from trouble. I'll quickly share this with you. There was once I rented a van because I was moving home, and I rented a van to pack my things, and somehow, I don't know, I missed a blind spot of another car which was parked behind me, and I hit it. I came out of the van. And then I saw it and I was like, oh no, how did this happen? So I went around to where it was parked in front of a few houses. There were a couple of houses there. So I went around because I didn't know whose car it was. So I went around, I knocked a few houses closer to the car, where the car was parked. And I asked them, please, whose car is this? Whose car is that? And at the end, the person's whose car it was wasn't in at that time. I could have just drove away because there was nobody watching, because it was at a point when I think everyone had gone to work. Nobody was watching. I could have gone. I shouldn't have done that, but I had to set my conscience free. I have to feel free when I walk out of that place, because that is what I have intended to do, or that is one of the rule of my life as a person. So it turned up it turned out there was a lady in one of the houses, and she showed me who the car belonged to. So what I did was I quickly reached out for a pen and paper from my bag, wrote my number on it, and I said, I'm very sorry about this happened to you. I'm the one who did this, and if you can please call me so we can talk about what to be done to this car when you are back from work. And I put it through their post in the house. And after work, this gentleman called me, and funnily enough, this person happens to be just close to where I come from, and he said, him and his wife, I met him and his wife at home. They gave me time. I came back, and then we spoke about it, and he said, you know what, I'll let my mechanic know about this issue, and whatever it is, I'll let you know. So to cut it short, we amended this issue together, not because I had money or I had excess money that I wanted to waste or I wanted to give out, but just to set my conscience free. And this man was so kind that at that point I was moving homes. I did not have much money to do other things, because but we spoke, and he said, okay, you can. I even went to meet his mechanic, and I asked his mechanic what he can do about it. He explained to me, and I paid part of the money, and I paid some, and it was amended. And it helps you as a person, because you walk out feeling, oh yes, I've done the right thing anyway. Don't feel if you do the right thing you will get yourself into trouble. I think if whoever you are dealing with is an understanding person, or the way you speak to the person would understand. Don't just leave. What if I just walk out of this situation because I think, oh, I don't have money that I'll use to repair the car, or maybe it would affect my my records, based on insurance wise, or and the van I was using wasn't mine, because I'd rented it. It was a van. It wasn't my car. It was a van that I rented. If I thought about all these things before I did what my conscience would have kept me at peace, then probably I would end up just walking away, because nobody was watching. We have to try as much as possible, to do the right thing, even when nobody is watching, to say the right thing, to say the good things that we tell our loved ones when they are watching. We keep to that. We keep to those same words. We don't change it because they are not watching or they are not around, and then we say anything, or we just think, oh, they are not looking, so we can act in any way. If you are a wife, how do you keep to yourself when your husband is not around, or when your husband travels and you visit your friends? How do you do? What do you do? Do you just go around doing anything because your other friends are doing it and your husband is not watching? If you are a husband, when you go out with your friends, do you just do anything because your wife is not watching, your wife is not looking? Who are you pleasing? Who are you when nobody is watching? Sometimes you can find yourself in certain circumstances that you would be forced. If you are not careful, you'll be forced to do the things that you don't really wish to do. But because you are in that circumstances, you want to do it. And you end up saying, oh, okay, at least my husband is not watching, or at least my wife is not watching, or at least this friend is not watching. This friend is not here, so I can say anything. I can do it anyway. But we forget God is in heaven, and He's watching. He's watching you. So who are you deceiving at the end of the day? You look around, you go to the shop and nobody is looking, so you feel nobody is watching. And then you just grab things and then you put in your handbag and you walk out. That's stealing. So, in another word, are you trying to say you are a thief? By at home, your husband or your wife or your children don't know you as a thief. So why are you trying to do that when these people are not watching, or when other people are not watching. Don't only try to do the right thing or impress people because they are watching you. Do it anyway, even when they are not watching you. You know, when you talk good about people in their face, you know, when you talk good about your sister, when you talk good about your brother, when he's around, oh, I love you so, my brother. In fact, I can always lean on you. And then when your brother is not in, when your sister is not in, what do you say? How do you act? Do you just say the direct opposite because your brother or your sister is not watching? What do you say? What do you say of your manager when he's not around, when he's not at work? When he's at work, you say, oh, my manager is the best. I love you. You know, you're always helping me, you know, to know the job. And in fact, you are doing well, right in your manager's face. But when he's not around, you say the direct opposite. Oh, this manager, he's a mess. He's a total mess. He doesn't know anything. Why? So why were you saying the opposite to him? Who are you when your manager is not watching? Who are you when your wife is not watching? Who are you when your husband is not watching? Who are you when your children are not watching? Who are you when your co-workers are not watching you? Who are you when your colleagues are not watching you? Who are you? Ask yourself this question and keep being truthful to yourself, because God sits on the throne. He rules the affairs of this world, and he's watching you. Don't think you can get away with it. Don't think you can get away with it. You can get away living things anyhow because nobody is watching you, and then you just walk away. Don't do it. Don't do it. And as much as I was saying about the car that accidentally drove, missed the blind spot and this happened, I told the person I mended this and I cleared my conscience. But just before Christmas, someone just drove, I visited a friend, parked outside on the road, outside in front of the house, and someone just drove into one of my wing mirror. Like that. Everything came off. Nobody left a note to say, oh, I did this. But what do I have to do? So that person had left. I'm sure the person will leave with that. If the person is someone with a good conscience, the person should have done something about it. But maybe the person had thought, oh, maybe if I go and look for whose ever car this is, maybe my insurance will go up, or maybe I'll get myself into trouble. Maybe the person had thought about that, or maybe the person even doesn't have money, or probably the person was using someone's car, a car which did not belong to him or her. So that person thought about it and just thought, oh, let me drive off because nobody was watching. You know, and a lot of the times that's what happened. We get out, or we run away from things that we have to sort out because nobody is watching. We end up doing things that we know we don't have to do because nobody is watching, forgetting that God is watching us. He is watching us. Don't say things or don't talk anyhow about people, you know, because they are not watching you. God is watching you, and one day we will all be judged. We would all face the throne of judgment. So keep being truthful to yourself. Remain sincere to yourself, even when nobody is watching. Even when your loved ones are not watching. Even when the people you so much adore are not watching. Still do the right thing. Still being truthful to yourself. Be real to yourself. Don't only do things pleasing people around, and at the end of the day, you end up losing your truthful self. You end up doing things which you are not supposed to do, saying things which you are not supposed to say, acting in a way which you know deep within yourself that you don't have to act like that. Before you do anything, just tell yourself that I know God is watching me. I'm going to do it anyway, even when nobody is watching me. Don't leave it because you feel nobody is watching you, so you can leave it anyhow. Leave things the right way, even when nobody is watching. Do things the right way, even when nobody is watching. Do good to people, even when nobody is watching. Don't only do good because you feel, oh, I sound you, everybody knows, oh, I'm a good person, I do good. What if you are doing good for a different intention? What if you are just trying to be nice to people because you have a different agenda or you have a different intention? What if? So at the end of the day, you are just pleasing people. You are not doing it because you know that, oh, you believe that you have to help people, you have to support people when there's a need or when you can't. If you're only doing it because you want people to like you, to be likable, or because you want people to say, oh yes, say good things about you, then it's unnecessary. It's not even needed. You don't even have to do it because at the end of the day, you don't have a good motive why you are doing it. You are just doing it based on the fact that you want to please people, based on the fact that you want to have a good name, based on the fact that you want to be likable among your friends, among your peers, among your colleagues. Do the right thing. Be good and be truthful to yourself. Be sincere to yourself, even when nobody is watching. And remember, God is watching you. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much. God bless you.